Today we are talking about blogging. Yay!
Blogging. First, what
Yep.
are our drinks for the night?
Well, my drink is Frappuccino because it is way too hot for regular coffee right now. Unless it's with ice cream, which I will totally have later.
I have
because I love ice cream.
Vanilla Coke that I got from Five Guys.
You went to Five Guys today?
Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah, I've had it before.
It's not bad. You never told me you went.
I went like a while ago.
So did I. But
Anyway.
You didn't tell me about it.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Alyssa has Coca-Cola. Janelle has lemonade. James, someone, and someone else. We just said what word. Jamie. I can't read. This is James.
Obviously.
Anyway.
Jamie Green? Okay. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. And Callie. Thank you for tuning in. We are Hannah and Sarah. We write on the Perfect Storm, BFFs. We have a section called the Evening Brew and the Morning Brew. So this is the Evening Brew, basically, where we talk about pretty much any topic that comes up that we're interested in. And one of the big things that we're interested in is blogging. So we thought we'd talk about that today.
Yeah, blogging 101. Is that what you titled this?
Pretty much.
Okay.
And tips.
Blogging tips, blogging 101. Hashtag blogging like Kelly. I'm not sure how do you pronounce it.
Callie or Kelly. Either way.
Kelly.
Thanks for hashtagging that.
Yeah.
But yep. That's what I'm talking about. Sarah, anytime. You can take it away, man.
Okay, well. First off, we will say we are not experts in blogging. I mean, we're semi-experts, but we have been doing blogging for like 3.5 years. Is that how long it's been? I don't know. How long? You're not paying attention. Anyway, but we are not.
I don't know how many years it's been. 3.
I think it's been. I think we started in like 2003, or not 2003, 2013. Yeah. And we still have like a lot to learn, of course. And, but this is what we have learned along the way. So we just wanted to share our tips to help anyone out who wants to know anything about blogging. Here are what our experience is, I guess. Here are tips. Stuff like that. So, and we are a lifestyle blog to specify what exactly it is we do, which we talk about food, we do recipes, we do fashion stuff, we do DIYs, we do other home things. You sometimes do books. Well, we'll do books too. I don't know. I feel like I'm missing something maybe. Do fashion DIY.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
We're talking about like general lifestyle things. Anything that kind of has to do with your life. We're talking about it, man.
Yeah. That's basically what we all do. Just to clarify like that.
Well, sorry. So, like, basically anything that we're saying, it comes from the standpoint of a lifestyle blog. Like, we're not a business blog, we're not a review blog, so we can only talk about, like, stuff from lifestyle blog standpoint. So, yes. And basically, why do we do it together, our blog? Because we're both, like, really good at different things, basically. We're also been friends forever, pretty much. And, you know, we just thought we'd basically combine forces and things we're both good at, and then, you know, go on with that. So, yeah. And our blog is theperfectstormbffs.com.
We blog like we try and usually do about 3 times a week. Sometimes that doesn't quite happen, so it has 2 times a week, but we always try and do at least 3 times a week. At least a minimum, or 4, I guess, right? Now, since we had the morning brew thing.
4, but we usually ends up being 4. Still 3, depending.
Yeah.
Lately it's been 3, but our goal is always 3 times a week.
Yeah.
That is our goal.
Yeah. So I got sidetracked with the question. Okay, so do you want to start? Do you want me to start?
Sure. You said you were going to do this. All right. First, we're going to talk about before you start your blog, then starting your blog, and then just general tips. We kind of have a little outline to go by. So basically, some tips before you start your blog. Number 1 is think about it. Really think about. Janelle, you distracted me with your question. But basically,
we'll answer your question probably.
Yes, if I don't get distracted. Whew.
I'll try and remember.
I've already forgotten what I was talking about. Thank you, Janelle.
Thinking about it.
Why do you want whenever you're getting ready to start a blog, you want to think about why do I want to blog? Why I want to make this blog? What do I want to blog about? And make it something that you really enjoy. You really enjoy doing.
And write about things that you're interested in, like how we do lifestyle things, and we decided to kind of do food, fashion, and DIY stuff because we're interested in all 3 things, and you can do a lot about that. And so, but if you're more passionate about recipes and food, then you could more do it all about food. If you care more about fashion and want to do fashion, what I'm wearing post, you could do that. Or if you want to do, I'm home things, I guess, you could do that. You could really just be whatever you really want. There's no rules, basically. But.
No, if you want to have a blog about cats and motorcycles, you can have a blog about cats and motorcycles. It's totally up to you. I know Janelle, not to throw her under the bus, but she blogs about gluten-free stuff. So she blogs just about the gluten-free stuff because it's relative to her life. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you can totally do that. And also whenever we started our blog, we decided we're hey, let's do our blog, all that stuff. And oh my gosh, I got distracted again. This is the worst. When we started our blog, we sat down and we got together and we talked about, what our goals we want to accomplish, what we want to do, and we came up with that. I think that when you start your own blog, you have to sit down and say, what do I want to accomplish? Who do I want to talk to? What is our mission statement, et cetera, because having that foundation right first is definitely going to help you, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so you just talked about us as an example with our goals, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Research. Do research. Kind of decide what platform you want to use. If you want to use WordPress, Blogger, Squarespace, I guess. I don't know really what else there is. Any of those, or either anything. To have your blog on, and you can look at different SEO techniques, I guess, for your SEO, which is search engine optimization, which helps you to get your blog out there more and all that stuff. And it takes a little bit of time and a little bit of education, and you really kind of have to learn the ins and outs of it. I mean, you don't have to, but it just helps you in the long run, basically. And if you do it ahead of time, like before you do start, and then once you get into it, it can take so much more time to like catch up on everything. Because that's kind of what we did, where we didn't really like do all that from the start, and we should have probably, but you know, life gets in the way and whatever. And
that's why we're telling you guys, you need to do like your research ahead of time so that you like don't make the same mistakes basically and get super behind like we did, because that's not good, you know. So that's one reason we just kind of wanted to, you know, give everyone our tips. But yeah, like Sarah said, it's basically just the less you're gonna regret, because we had such a hassle with stuff that we still have to go back and fix some things, you know, that we never did fix. You know, we're still like working on that. But yeah. All right, now from pre, you know, what you need to do beforehand, now to actually starting your blog. And first thing you want to do is kind of like a little kind of a start, but you want to get everything set up. You want to get like your logo, you want to get your template, you want to get your name, like I said, your vision, all that set up. Don't you can do what you want. You know, if you decide on a rainy afternoon that you're going to get on and you're going to make this blog about cats and motorcycles, feel free. But if you're going to be serious about it, if you're going to like really get out there and do stuff, then you need to have a plan. That includes like a logo and a plan of attack, name, logo, all that stuff. So, yeah. And then also, to me, a great template and blog design is pretty much everything. I know I've talked to several people about that who have asked me, and I said, for me, that's like one of the first things you need to do. Have a good layout. Have a good template, something. If you just stick with like the pre-made blog spot stuff, you know, it's going to be fine if you want to like journal or do whatever. But if you're going to like really get serious, get yourself out there, etc., it's not going to do it.
Yeah, it's better too if you like design it however you want to have it like stand out too, because there's so many like of the templates where they're all the same. They always look the same. So if the more you differentiate your blog and your name and everything, the more you can stand out, basically.
Yeah, and that's why I recommend going to Etsy for getting your templates, because there's a lot of designers who will sell their Etsy designs there. You know, their digital designs, and you can get those, and they're more unique than like the standard, you know, Google something free kind of thing. So yeah, definitely that's a good source. And when you get bigger, you can get your own custom design and logo and everything like that. Definitely working with a designer is best. Now I know like a budget doesn't always allow that, but you know, I mean, you do what you can at first, but make it the best looking that you can with as little budget as you have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and then whenever you get more of a budget and you do more things, then you can get your own brand with a designer.
Yeah.
Like, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, because you can always just upgrade. Like, as your blog gets bigger, you can change it and make it better, which is even what we did, where it was one design, and then even like last fall, we changed it and we made it completely different. Not completely different. The layout was still really similar, but we like switched from Blogger to WordPress. And we changed the design a little bit and stuff like that, just to make it look more professional and better and everything.
Well, and before we didn't have like a logo or anything. We had just like a design I made, you know, but not to pat myself on the back or anything, but you know, and then the logo I made it too. But we actually have like now a brand, like our little rain cloud with the colored dots or colored raindrops. That's like our brand, you know what I mean? As far as that goes, that's something we can use on all of anything that we ever design, anything that we ever do, you know, it has our brand on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think that's important if you want to like start your own like serious blogging thing. And on a designing note, when you do a template or you get your design, please try not to like go nuts with it. Try to have something simple and, you know, just not everywhere. Like I've seen so many blogs, they'll do like bright red black background, black text, and like 3 different fonts, and it's just like, whew, that's a little scary.
Yeah. And then there I've seen one that you've seen too, where it was a certain person. This was years ago too, and she had a blog, and she was like obsessed with whales, and the background was like waves, like ocean waves, and then the cursor changed to a little whale, and it was just weird, and it was like, it looks just cheap and tacky. Sure, I would love to have a blog or website with a cat as a cursor, but I'm not going to do that because it's a little unprofessional. Maybe for my personal diary or something. No.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you want to do something for your personal whatever, like time, that's fine. But like, we're talking like as far as trying to be like a quote unquote serious blog. And plus, by the way, this was like very, if you remember like MySpace, like the whole like page layout, sometimes we were really nuts. It was very not MySpacey. So it was on quite a different plane than what we were aiming for. But yeah.
Okay. Were you wanting to put up a blog page for an example?
Well, I wasn't, but I can now.
You can, so you can.
I don't want to I don't want to toot our horn here, but let me go ahead and do that.
Well, Hannah did design like almost everything in a blog, and it is.
I'm not a designer, by the way.
She's not even a designer. She did it. Well, you did have help. You did ask for other people's opinions and things like that and stuff, and it's pretty dope.
Thanks, Janelle. I appreciate that.
Janelle said you did good. You did.
Well, that's the only opinion that matters, really. Nothing showing up on the board. Of course. Let me do like the live screen view thing. You go to the next example while I'm trying to do this.
Okay. So, writing. Okay. Well, there's also a big thing that you should always have in a blog is really good photography. It is one of the, like, it's even from the start, you want to have good photography, and you don't even have to like have like a super duper fancy camera. Hannah does because she's professional, but like you want to have good photography, have it be in focus, have good lighting, even have like props, and have like just a general theme, and take good pictures. Like if you see a recipe of ours, you'll see where we take a lot of like step-by-step type pictures rather than just the end result picture, because it's always good to have like the visual as well as the writing, because then that can help people to connect more. And it's kind of like it can help you because you just have better pictures. And when we first started, our pictures were okay. They weren't amazing. They weren't as good as what they are now. Over time, it's just progressively gotten better. So it helps a lot of the times, especially if you do have like a food blog or a fashion blog, because you want to have a lot of pictures and you want to have detailed shots and you want to have things be in focus. And there's the website.
Can you see it okay?
Yeah, I can.
All right, good.
You may want to like go to a different post or something.
Okay. Can you see like it moving? Because I can't see what's happening. So.
No, it's not moving. For me, at least.
All right, people, listen. Also, with the pictures, a lot of people have actually complimented us on that, because they, like the more visual people, they will follow that better. The step-by-step thing with pictures. And a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, I don't really like, reading through all that stuff, and everything. I'd rather be able to clearly figure out what's going on, like, from the pictures. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's really a big help. And it's so underestimated. Like, do not get, yes, it's going to sound really harsh, but do not get your phone out, your iPhone, and start, like, doing that. Because it's just not great. It's not optimal. And especially if you're trying to work with brands, it's just not great. You see the shrimp now?
Yeah, and it's moving.
All right, there you go. So yeah, this is an example of what a decent picture looks like. As if you all needed that, but you know what I mean. Now we do keep the pictures a little lower quality on our morning brews, because it's just like little snippets from our day, so we just use phone pictures. And this is what I mean by branding, like the little rain cloud is what we use on branding. And being consistent, like people forget about like planning and picking colors and stuff like that. Like we have a color scheme. We have, the light pink, dark pink, yellow, gray, and then the navy. And those are, you'll see like all throughout the layout, those are the colors that we use. That brings you consistency, throughout the whole thing, and people can easily, identify your brand, which, that's what your blog is, essentially, is your own brand. Yeah.
And it can be consistent, it should be consistent in like your social media, like layouts and logos too. Like on our Twitter, it's like, at least in the header picture, it kind of like that, and the logo's in there, and then it's like the picture of us. And then, like on the Facebook page, it's the same thing, where it's the same like header picture, like our Twitter and our Facebook page. Those are the only two I'm thinking of, because Instagram doesn't have. Yeah, but you should have like the same picture. Like we have the same picture that's as our welcome picture on our website, as the same like profile picture for all of the other like social media platforms.
It's just basically brand. Yeah. It's brand consistency is what you want to do. And think about that. Because we didn't do that. And it was very disorganized in the beginning. And now it actually looks like we got our crap together.
Well, just a little bit. Just a little bit, even though in reality we really don't.
We really don't. As you all know, we are just two piles of messes walking, basically.
There's two piles of messes walking. Just walking around not knowing what's going on. Listen,
today in the morning brew, Sarah talked about how she spilled smoothies everywhere.
I did.
So, walking mess. The other day I overflowed the Keurig thing at work, and the coffee and water went everywhere. It was great. And then I also dropped like a pile of plates, and they went everywhere, and it was great. So yeah, we're just messes.
We are.
But yes, back to the point. Photography. My personal two top tips of all top tips are design and photography. Because even if your content is meh, you'll get people's attention by your photography and your content. Like somebody just scrolling through, they're going to pay attention to that stuff. Whether your content is, wow or not, that's going to pull them in. Now your content should be great too, but I think your design, your photography, your branding is going to pull the people in to read your blog.
Yeah. That's what catches their eye, is if it's like the logo at the top of the screen, you're like, ooh, I like that. And then really good pictures. Ooh, I like that. And then you're interested in what do these people have to say. And
that's why Pinterest is so huge. It's not because it's super great content and everyone goes to the recipes and whatever. It's because the photography is great and it just catches people's eye. You know what I mean? All that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the most successful. And again, we're talking about lifestyle blogs here. So we're gearing towards that, recipe, DIY stuff. If that's not your niche or niche or whatever, then photography is still important, but, a lot of things we're talking about is especially important for a lifestyle blog.
Even whatever your blog is about, the design should still, it's still really important.
Yes.
So if it's about cats and motorcycles, have a cat riding on a motorcycle as your logo. That would be amazing.
there are ways to be fun without being like a joke. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. A joke. But
well,
anyway.
It's like our logo. It's a rain cloud with colorful raindrops. It's fun. It's cute. And whatever. But it's like, it's not a joke and stuff, basically.
Yep.
Okay.
Plan your posts. This is probably our third most important tip, because we didn't do this forever, and that made our posts super erratic. We would post like once every 3 months sometimes, and things like that. Actually, we had this habit where we would post a lot through the summer, and then as soon as our semester started at college, we would just not post for like the 3 or 4 months or whatever the semester, and then we'd post again at the beginning of summer, and it was not ideal. You do not want to do that. So basically, for us, planning our posts makes it really great to be consistent with what we're talking about with our post, and say we want to have this post, this post, this post this week. Or if you don't know exactly what post you want to do, like the name, like we want to do shrimp appetizers this day and then morning brew this day. If you just want to know you want to do like for us, we do like a food one, a lifestyle one, a fashion one every week. We try to make it even. Even if you don't know what you're doing, you can plan for those 3 days, of posts. But you can adapt it to however you like it. But as long as you have some sort of a plan and a goal to keep yourself accountable, it really does help. And then also, if you happen to skip a day, if you don't get something posted right on time, or a few days late, then, the plan is for your eyes only, ideally. So if you're late, if you don't post, or if you do 2 recipes in no fashion or whatever, then that's completely fine. Life happens. Like, you don't have to, get bent out of shape because you didn't post. Things just happen and you don't get to it all the time. So, but for us, having that plan really does help a lot.
And even if you can't do the number of posts that you want to do in a week, at least try and do one, which is like how we always try and do. No matter what, we always do a wearable Wednesday every single Wednesday. There was a couple Wednesdays a couple weeks ago where we didn't quite do that, but that was like the only time we actually ever did that, I think, in like a long time. And also have a plan. Like if you say, okay, well, I can post 2 times a week, 3 times a week, 4 times a week, whatever. Kind of just come up with that plan, which is what helped. Like Hannah said, what helped with us is 3 times a week, and then if we add more, we add more. If we don't, we don't. But usually, at least if you have that one thing that is consistent, then you know what you're gonna have in the weeks ahead. So that way you can plan for that time. Because if you do have a busy schedule, it can be hard to post 5 days a week. We can't even do it. I mean, we could, but we couldn't really. It would be too hard to keep up. Maybe for a week, but I think the next week we couldn't do it because you don't have the time and stuff. So it's really hard to do that. But at least if you try and have that one thing 3 times a week, 2 times a week, whatever you can do or want to do, at least stick with that, which has helped us a lot, even like you said. But
we used to be super scatterbrained. We're still scatterbrained, but this kind of reined it in a little bit, And Janelle asked, how do you create titles for your posts?
We struggle with it too.
We do struggle with it too sometimes. It's really hard, man. It's really hard. I know a lot of people's tips are to do lists because that's the hot thing to do. And sometimes we would end up doing that. Top 5, vacation spots, or top 5 travel tips, or something like lists are very in, but I never review. So just try to spice it up is my biggest thing. I try to do that instead of doing like, we had a smoothie bowl and iced coffee recipe. Instead of just being like smoothie bowl and iced coffee as the title, I put like sunrise smoothie bowl and caramelized coffee with Try the World. You know what I'm saying? It's a little more descriptive. It is a little long, but you know, just try and like be more descriptive. What are people going to want to see? Like, and then for your reviews, instead of just being like love with food box review, be like, I love with food. You know, something like, different than just like that.
Yeah, like if it would be like with Try the World, would be like, come with us to Thailand for a Try the World's Thailand box. Which, by the way, a lot of people thought we actually went to Thailand, which we didn't. But anyway.
Even though, yeah, I made sure to like in the title of the thing, I put with Try the World, like come with us to Thailand, or we're going to Thailand, or something like that, with Try the World. And then like in the first like sentence, I was like, so we're not really going to Thailand, but with Try the World, we totally feel like it with all the food, you know. And people still like commented, and they were like, congrats on your trip to Thailand. I hope you take lots of pictures. That would be really great. Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, just didn't even like, thanks. I'll keep that in mind for when I actually go, which will probably be not anytime soon. But I was, you know, sometimes our jokes are lost on people and excitement, but that's all right. You know, it's all right. It's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope that helped, you know.
Yeah.
Our next thing. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say it, but the next thing would be to keep a blog journal or notebook to kind of jot down an idea, or I guess even like a title for a post. Or you can use your phone, really whatever you want. So that way you have it with you, and then whenever the inspiration like you remember, then write it down so that way you don't forget, which tends to happen with us a lot. And stuff like that. And sometimes just maybe if you can just like brainstorm, like have an evening of brainstorming of all these things you want to do within the next month or two or whatever, and just kind of write everything down so that way you can like have an idea. Because sometimes you'll be like, whenever you actually have to do it, then it's like, oh, what do we have to do? I don't know, because we do that all the time and stuff. So it really helps a lot. And a lot of times you'll even like send emails to yourself all the time for whenever you remember something. I'll just put reminders on my phone, whatever, which helps a lot and stuff. So usually that helps.
Yeah, and some people even like, you know, like I said, put it in your phone, even if like carrying a notebook is not that big of a thing for you. Like I almost never have my actual notebook, but I really do like email myself and jot down ideas. Yeah. A lot of times I'll take pictures of things, because I'll see something and be like, ooh, I should post about that, or I should talk about that, and I'll take a picture of it with my phone real quick. Yeah. And then we used to never get together and like kind of plan basically, but it kind of goes along with this. Now we get together, you know, about every month and do like a really good brainstorming session of what we want to do with that month and the next month, and really get our ideas and like come together, both of our ideas, and really plan out the month. And you know, we wouldn't be able to do that if we didn't have our notebooks and our ideas, you know, buried somewhere. But yeah. And along with that, I guess, is also like planning a little bit ahead of the seasons of things. Again, that applies more to us. But you want to like, they always say, and I agree, like now is May, right? So in June, June is next month. So
June
right
is
now,
next
like,
week.
Yeah, that's true. But you know, like this month, we should be posting about swimsuits and pools and barbecues and all that summer stuff. Even though it's like a little bit early for that, you know, swimsuit season and vacations and all that, you still want to post, because if you wait until, you know, it's here to start posting, then you're too late as far as like, you know, everybody looking for ideas and stuff like that. So that's where having all of your ideas come in handy.
Yeah, and they always say, I was going to just say, they always say to plan 3 months ahead of time, that you should do like 3 months ahead of time, which We don't quite do also. But we try. We try.
We have a rough outline.
We have a rough outline. We have a rough plan. So, But even then, if it's just the month ahead of time, it helps so much. And I feel like it's like, to me, it's easier just to do the month, because I feel like if we do 3 months later, it's easy to just forget and whatever. But
well, and we both have part-time jobs, so
yeah.
We're not full-time bloggers. Full-time bloggers, like I know there's Kathy from our mini family. She like really goes crazy with it, and it's really awesome. But she's moved into being a full-time blogger. She does that like for her living, so that's what she does, the whole time. And that's awesome. I wish I could dedicate all that time to it, but we are where we are right now. But
yeah.
And some people also, I would say, they'll make up their outlines too, especially if you have trouble, like when you go to sit and write a post, and if you have to be like, oh, what am I going to write about? What am I going to say? Etc. If you already know what you kind of want to talk about, you can make like a rough outline way ahead of time. That way you know kind of what you want to talk about. You can kind of think about it, and be like, I want to talk about blogging tips. And like come back to it later and be like, well, I want to talk about this and this and this, and kind of make little bullet points so that whenever you go to actually make the post, it's not so like you're pulling it out of the air. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Or even like if you're reviewing something, like if it would be, I don't know, a book, and then you would notice different things about it, like write that down or something, make notes as you're reading through it for things like, oh, this would be a good thing to talk about or mention in the review. Or I guess it could be like with anything else that you're reviewing even and stuff, and everything else you said.
Okay, and then when it comes to actually writing your content, be true to yourself. Write the way you speak. I think that's, one thing that bloggers try to avoid when they first start out. They try to like talk professional or whatever. Just write the way you speak, with proper grammar, punctuation, and spell check. Try to be as relatable as possible. I mean, in my opinion. But that's how we do ours. We just kind of write like the way that we talk. So, we're not robots or anything.
Yeah, and I feel like some people may try and write it more like an article when it's not really an article. It's more like, you're just writing about whatever. It doesn't have to be, super professional and stuff like that.
Now, if you're going for like article type content, then fine.
Yeah.
Yes, it should be an article. But we're just, again, going by like lifestyle blog, what we do. And you want to try and create shareable content as much as possible. Write and create things that people actually want to share with people on social media, share with their friends, etc. Because, otherwise, what's the point? I mean, other than making this stuff for yourself, but I'm saying, like, if you want to, like, reach out to other people, if you want to, be successful with companies, etc., you want to create that shareable content so that people can share with their social media audiences, with their readers, their friends, family, whatever. You want to create that shareable content if you want to, like, be successful with companies and stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I will say it's always good to kind of be trendy. It kind of kills me a little bit to say that. But it's kind of like, it's good to have things, that are popular and what's hot at the moment. Like right now, a lot of stuff is summertime. So you want to do things like iced coffee, a smoothie bowl. I don't know what else.
Smoothie bowls are trendy anyway.
Grilling tips, swimsuit.
Well,
things.
Grilling and that's more seasonal. Like that doesn't really change with trends. Like grilling is just a certain time of the year. But smoothie bowls are very trendy. Like they're very like, woo. It's like for a while it was like kale chips, like kale chip recipes everywhere, and then it's like, I don't know. I can't think of a good example right now. But it's just like there's always those things that really come into trend. And with fashion bloggers, it's like, it'll be like jumpsuits. Like there was like little rompers where it's like really in. So people have all their romper pics, and then different trends that come in style. You hate to like be that person, but hop on it if you have an opinion. If you like it, hop on it, because it's probably going to get shared a lot.
Yeah. Okay. And get personal. Don't get caught up in trying to sound. Okay, get personal. Try and relate your content, and you want to kind of like how it goes with like writing the way you talk, I guess. And you want to tell personal stories and have something that does relate and can relate easily to the people that your audience, I guess. And don't try and sound all professional and like, oh, this is my recipe about fried chicken. Here it is. I'm not telling any stories. And it's always good to, tell a story about, if you have a story for you cooking with your grandma and making fried chicken when you were like 10 years old. And it's a recipe that was passed down from like 20 million years ago or something. I don't know how far back fried chicken goes. But it's good to have things that can help you to relate and have a connection, basically, with your audience for whatever it is that you're doing. And it's like kind of like the whole thing if you say, oh, well, I'm making this because I love it, or I'm wearing this because it's super comfortable and I love it, and stuff like that. And it also helps you to, like, I guess, people to know you better in general, because a lot of times you want to have their trust, I guess. I mean, you may or may not, but you at least would like to have their trust as far as them like you, I guess. I don't know where I'm going.
You want to be relatable. You want people, not like, you don't want to be fake. Like, you don't want to make people like you, per se. But the more like personal stories you put in there, the more about yourself that you can show people, the more they're going to relate to you and feel like you're, their friend. Even though, like, if you're a blogger, and you can be friends with people too, like, that's what I was saying, but it's just like, you got to make yourself more relatable. And then as people get to know you and know what you like and know how you are as a person, they'll trust you more and trust your opinions and trust your ideas and trust your recipes, DIYs, all that stuff. It just kind of all goes in together. But if you just, like, you post a recipe, you leave it there, you put a picture on it, it's like, all right, that's great. I got the recipe, but there's no, like, connection with you as a blogger, basically.
Okay.
And when you're also writing, be aware of SEO, because we were not. SEO is search engine optimization, and I'm not even going to go into it. But there's a ton you can Google about it, what you need to do, how you need to format your posts, keywording for Google, your metadata, sizing, all that stuff. And it's a lot. And I still am going back and fixing posts that we had terrible SEO with. So you want to start yourself out right and do it right. Do the SEO thing. But it's really complicated. Don't sweat it, if you're not too caught up in it at first. But it is very important, especially if you want to get serious and all that good stuff. And also, it goes along with getting personal, is get to know your audience and who are you trying to reach. Like, who is this person that I'm writing to, ideally? And really build your community and your audience. And who's reading your content? Who are you making this content for? For example, our audience is mostly women 19 to 35, give or take. We have a lot of people who are new brides and moms and are really looking for, like, home things. Like, they want to learn to cook, they want to have great fashion but affordable, and make their homes a better place in general. And we do a lot of really easy recipes with simple ingredients. And that's why we do a lot of affordable fashion and a lot of DIYs that are home related, because that's a lot of what our audience responds to, what they're interested in, what we're interested in. So you really have to kind of know what your audience is kind of like, what they're after, that sort of thing. Yeah. And that's really important, because anything you write has to be geared towards that. Like, it would be really out of character for Sarah and I to write about Dior dresses for our, and some things that are straight off the runway for our audience, because chances are they don't care about that. They're like moms and, college age, master's degree age, people starting families, they don't care about Dior dresses. But if your audience was really high fashion, they love Dior dresses, then you would talk about Dior dresses. You see what I mean? You got to know your audience like that. And make connections like on a personal note through social media, replying to comments, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But I think we'll get into that later too. I think that's another point later on.
Okay, working with brands. Is that next?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, working with brands. So we always get the question of how can you work with brands? How can you get them to send you free stuff? How can you connect with the brands? This is something that we are also still kind of working on. You first off have to have a good audience. You can't really, it's hard to get a brand or company to like do anything for you if you have an audience that of like 5 people and no one's really reading your blog. So it's good to have, a lot of brands can be very strict. It depends on a lot of things, really, for them to actually even consider you for anything. But you have to have a good foundation as far as your audience, a lot of views, just a good, hard, I guess, just you have to be set, basically. And then you have to do all the stuff like we mentioned, like have good pictures, have a clear focus, basically, of what you're about. And you want to, engage with readers, connect with people. I don't know what you meant by that.
I was meaning even if your views are low, if your readers are really engaged, like they comment on everything, they respond to your messages, like they click, on your posts, etc. Even if your views are low, but your readers are really engaged with you, that means something too. It's not always about having high numbers, because if you have really high numbers who follow you, but none of them are engaging, then no one's actually caring, so to speak.
Yeah.
And that's that's what I meant by that.
Okay, gotcha. So what she said, and and you also want to mention brands that you already love. Like, for example, what's one that we love?
Well, I just mean start by that. Even if you're not being sponsored by somebody yet, you can start by I don't know. For example, we like the Starbucks Frappuccino. So say they're not sponsoring us for a thing. I bought this, but hey, I want to kind of connect with brands. My blog is just starting out. I maybe will take a picture on Instagram with me holding my Frappuccino or something, and tweet at them, be like, "Thanks for the sweet frap," or something cooler like that. But
something
great.
cooler.
And then people will see that. I mean, their brain will see that and be like, "Oh, thanks, Hannah, Sarah, blah blah. You guys are the greatest." Not really, but brands will notice that if you engage with them. It works better with smaller brands, I will say. Starbucks, I'm pretty sure that they don't care. But, smaller brands especially, if you like them and you tweet at them, etc., you say, hey, thanks for my Love with Food box. I'm using that as an example because I know that, likes Love with Food. She told me the other day. But thanks for the Love with Food box. I love all the things that I got. And then also that goes along with reviewing products that you already use and love, rather than trying to be like, oh, I'm only going to review things if I get free stuff. Just review whatever you already like, whether somebody sent it to you or not, because that gives you a great content base, and get your feet wet, kind of. And also, brands will see that as well. Be like, oh, hey, they review this thing. Maybe they want to do my thing, blah, 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 blah. It's just kind of to get you started, in with that. And you can also take advantage of any affiliate programs that they offer without being like them
obvious.
100%. Yes,
well, and obvious, but
yeah, but I mean, you don't have to have them sponsor you for you to use the affiliate programs most of the time. You can just use them and get a little bit of funding back on your items, etc. So don't be afraid to use those for sure.
Yeah, and then you don't want to always like blog for free items. Like we do get some things, but it's not like the only thing. And because it kind of like, I don't know, just for me personally, if I would see someone's blog and all they do is just reviews and every single one, it's like, oh, I was sent this product because of blah, blah, blah. It's good, at least for us, it's good to have like a mix so that we have some original, I guess, content, or I'm not saying it wouldn't be original, but it would be like, I don't know. To me, it just seems like you're a little bit of a sellout. It sounds harsh, but it sounds like a little bit of a sellout as far as, oh, I'm only doing this just so I can get free items. When it's kind of like, to me, I feel like you should have like, you should be worth more than that. You should actually want to actually share stuff because you care and you just want to reach to people. Janelle distracted me.
I know. I'll answer her questions. I'll just answer them at the end, or we can answer them at the end. So I get distracted. Sorry, Janelle. Not to like block your questions.
You can ask questions, but keep asking them. But
I just started them or whatever, so that I know that I saw them. But yeah. Well, and two, if you're a review blog, that's a different thing. If that's what your whole thing is, then fine, review away. But still, you want to have a goal and vision and all that stuff. I think whenever you don't know what the person's goal and vision is with their blog, that's where it gets sellouty.
Yeah.
And also, we don't review everything just because they offer us something free, Yeah. If you end up with like a closet full of junk, that's terrible to say. But, if anyone, and then if anyone just like is offering you free items to do a post about this, or if it's something like really off the wall, like, I don't know.
Well, we've gotten like emails you've told me about to review men's underwear or something. Yeah. Which is like, we never ever have anything about men's clothing or anything like that. And it would be so off the wall for us to just review that when it's like, we've never even done like a men's wear Wednesday or anything like that even. And even if we would, we still wouldn't do it because that's a little weird. But
first post straight to the underwear.
Yeah. So
some people will do that though because they're getting a free item. They'll be like, well, they're gonna offer me something for free. I should do that post. It's like, no, you need to be selective about what you do. Yeah, that's why I say that.
Yeah.
Too, that like doing what. Sorry.
Well,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say you should have standards.
Yeah.
Basically.
Have standards. Don't be like, don't just like rent out your spot and be like, place your post here, whatever you want, man. And then don't work for free. Also, now when you're starting out, that's a little harder, but when you're first starting out, but you want to try and sounds funny. But it's your time, it's your, like, especially for us, we spend a lot of our time cooking. We make, the stuff. We use the supplies. We take the pictures. It's not like a once and done, type thing usually. So whenever they contact us and they're like, we'll send you this thing for free, and then we'll promote your content. That's just like, there's a certain point in our blogging career, so to speak, where that's not good enough. Like, you should be paid for your time and the money you spend, etc. You should have that all lined out, and you should have a media kit, which you can look up, how to do that, etc. And you should say, this is what I charge for, this post, this coverage, etc. Say what you're going to do for the company, etc. Because there's so many places that will just be like, we'll send you a free item, you make a post, and then it's like, well, you did all this work for nothing, basically, for a free item. And, sometimes that's not optimal. And, just got to value yourself more, and your audience. Yeah. Because, you're brands who say like, oh, we'll promote your content, it's really great. Most of the time, you're the one doing them a favor. You're giving them content to promote. You're the one who's like convincing people to buy their thing or make their recipe or whatever. You're the one like helping them, but they always act like they're helping you. And it's really more the other way around, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to say no, and don't be afraid to you negotiate with companies and be like, that's really great. I'd love to do this, but, in a nice way, say, here's my rates. I will do it, but, here's my rates. I don't work for free items. But, like, in a nice way, not just be like, I don't work just for free items. My time is worth more. How dare you ask me to do something for free? Because some people do have that attitude, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you contact companies, the media kit is supposed to show you, what can you offer that company? How can you help them? What, make your content have value. It's like a little pitch almost, give or take. But,
yeah.
And like I said, the exceptions to not working for free is when you're first starting out, because there are some things that like we have done that we got stuff for free, but we were first starting out. We had like no viewers. We had viewers, but it's like, we didn't have any assets to speak of, so we would kind of take it. But it wasn't like, the men's underwear thing, but we would still like not charge for our services, so to speak.
Yeah. And you also want to like whenever you work with brands, you want to have the shareable content. So it's like where we work with brands, like a lot of food brands, and we'll still make a recipe the same exact way we would make any other recipe. We just incorporate that item into the recipe. So that way it's still pretty original. And we always try and have something that's a little bit different, a little bit original, not, everything else. Like where we recently did one with ragu pasta sauce, and we didn't just make spaghetti and meatballs or whatever, which is what you would usually think of, and we did like stuffed pasta shells, because that's not really something that's super popular and stuff like that. And then like with Try the World, we always do like a review and everything, and we'll do like a recipe for them. And then they will always like share our content as well. And the people with Try the World are like amazing anyway. But like you want to have that relationship, and even especially with Try the World, because they're a smaller company brand, and so it's easier to like actually talk to the people and like be like, okay, well, we're gonna do this, and they'll be like, do you want to do that, and everything. And so it's better to have the actual connection with the company, so that way they know what you have, and they will want to help you out more and more and more, which is exactly what like Try the World did. And they've even like offered us more stuff and everything, and it's just been better from the start.
And we started out just doing stuff for free for them, and they just gave us boxes. Their subscription box thing, by the way. And they just sent us boxes, but like the more we did, the more they were impressed with how we did them, because a lot of other people, they would just do a straight review, pictures of the items, blah, blah, blah. Well, we would actually like incorporate it into our lives a little bit. Like, how would we use this box? Here's a recipe for how you can use the box, like if you're subscribed to it. What we loved about it, et cetera, et cetera. That's something that's more engaging. People are going to care about. People are going to share with their friends. And that's the whole point. You know what I mean? Well, and their whole point is to get the customer to buy the product. Our whole point is like to be that middle in between them with our post, you know, to also get them to do it. You know what I mean? Without being selly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just like very organic. But the connections with your company is like, at first we just started getting the box for free. And then we actually went to this, to the guy, our contact, and was like, hey, it's really great you're sending us free boxes, but we're trying like this new thing where we want to get paid for things we do. I didn't say it like that, but you know, we talked about it and we wrote an email.
There was a whole like media kit thing and explained everything basically.
Yeah, basically, you know, and we were really nervous about it because we're like, oh, now we're going to have to ask for money and he's going to say no and blah, 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 blah. Because it is kind of nerve-wracking. But he was basically like, we don't really have a fund for that. But what I can do is basically put you on the panel for our magazine. And they're now paying for any supplies that we use for our recipes. We're getting reimbursed for those. So that's great. We're not actually using, you know, our own blog funds for, you know, recipe things.
Okay, like blog funds.
I don't know what to call it. Blog funds, air quote.
Blog monies.
Blog monies. We get reimbursed from that. And also he had said, our contact, that if we want to use any of the products, you know, in any of the posts, like the individual like products, not just the box, to send him a message. He'll send anything we need full size. Pretty much just as soon as I give him a list, which we need to work on. But that's super nice. Super nice. And even though we're not getting paid, we're pretty much being sponsored by them. You know, as far as them supplying supplies, them supplying their own products to use, etc. And he even asked, you know, what are some ideas that you guys have how we can work together more? And then we got together and we gave him a list of ideas of how we can work with them and their content a lot better. And it's just that open line of communication between you and the brand representative. If you can get that, it is amazing. So definitely try and get that as much as possible with any brand you come in contact with. If you can have that personal connection with their rep, it has been like a lifesaver for us. And there's even been other people. The one girl from the coffee company. I'm trying to remember the name. I can see the logo. That's terrible. Crema, yeah. Crema.co or whatever. She was super nice, you know, checked in with us, whatever. We started to build a relationship with her. I'm getting ready to contact her about like doing more stuff with her other than just like talking about her coffee subscription. But yeah, it's really great. And even with that, even though we didn't really have a recipe with the coffee, it's kind of like going off topic, but making shareable content with it instead of, it's actually one of our most popular posts, believe it or not. We talked about the coffee subscription, but we did like, I think, top 5 ways to take your coffee to the next level. We didn't just like talk about Crema.co, it's great, you know, whatever. We actually gave people tips for making their coffee and incorporated Crema.co and their idea and their ways. So that was really great. Anyway, that was kind of an aside to that, but it's just an example of what we're telling you. And then we have general tips.
So general tips. Be consistent with your blog posting, which we already mentioned, and social media. Social media is like the #1 way that you can reach and get your blog out there, and you can let everyone know that you're alive, I guess. And
you're alive. You're kicking. Alive. You're writing things.
So it's really good to have social media accounts on all the platforms like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Pinterest, Blab, I guess.
No. Snapchat is a big one now.
Yeah, it is. I feel like I'm missing a
Facebook,
few.
Twitter, Pinterest.
Instagram.
Stumble Upon is kind of a thing, but it's not like
a big platform.
Google Plus is pretty much dead, but people use it. That's terrible, but it's true.
Yeah. But if you have to have accounts on all of those things and be active on them. So like whenever you do have Instagram, it's always good to have a picture on Instagram the day you do a post, and have a picture from the post and have a little caption about it and have the direct link in the bio. That helps so much. And just say like what it is that you're doing, and then have it on Facebook, have it on Twitter. I mean, do basically the same thing across the board, all of the platforms. And you have to be consistent and with posting on there every day as much as you can. And also reply to people's comments, because that can just help you with making a connection with your audience. Or it's like Instagram is a big thing, like where people can find your pictures anyway, however, because of the hashtags. And if people like leave a comment and be like, oh my gosh, I love you guys, blah, blah, blah. And be like, oh, this looks so yummy. And you can like reply back. And it can just be a way that you make a connection. And it makes a big difference. Like you may think, oh, it won't matter to that person that they actually replied, that like I replied to them, but it makes a big difference. Because it even like makes a big difference to me. Like if you leave a comment and then the other person comments back, it's like, oh, they actually care. Because you want to let people know that you care, and that you want to just, the more you engage, the more of a connection you make, the more of a friendship you can make, and have like an actual reader, I guess.
Well, the more they're going to come back to your blog, and they're going to go out of their way to subscribe to you and watch your stuff and all that other stuff, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And then you could talk about making connections.
Basically, you want to get to know other bloggers. Something that we never did for a long time, but then we did in the last probably year, or probably several months actually, is reaching out to other bloggers that you follow and you like, or that you're in different groups with, etc., and get to know them and like share their posts and everything. You can also join Facebook groups and different channels where you can network with other people. There are like a ton of Facebook groups where it's like bloggers mastermind groups. Bloggers get together. It's not all about like links and reciprocation. There's also like stuff that just like people get together and they talk about blogging, and you can bounce ideas off of them, etc. And then you can, you know, get to know those people and their blogs, and you can share their content. They share your content. It's just really great. Plus, you get to see kind of what other people are doing, you know, and getting ideas from that. Not like ripping people off or anything, but just like being inspired by your peers, so to speak.
Yeah.
And the more that you support basically other bloggers, the more connections you're going to make. And you comment on their blog posts as well. It's a really big thing, not just for SEO, as you'll find out, but also, to make a connection, to get to know that person. Definitely. And like Sarah said, get to know your readers, comment on their posts back to you, like reply to comments, you know, and you'll get to know these people. Like I handle a lot of this, or I have handled a lot of the social media. So after a while, you get to know your readers, like and what they like, what they, you know, post about. And also some readers will have really great suggestions for what you can do. I said we have had people come back to us and be like, that's stupid. Not really. We haven't had that, but ways to suggest getting better at things, you know, and things that they like, or other ideas. Like there was a girl was like, with our stuffed shells, and one I can think of recently, she was like, you know, this would be great if you also threw in like sausage or something like that, or I really don't like mushrooms, so I wouldn't put that in. And it's like, oh, well, yeah, you can engage with them and be like, that's a really great idea. I never thought of that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, you're surprised. You can learn a lot from your readers as well, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and you should also collaborate with other bloggers, like Hannah already said, too. And you can even, like, either with other bloggers, and a lot of times people will, like, kind of swap posts where you write a post for someone and they write a post for you. And it's just a way to kind of like get like your name on their audience, like on their blog, so that way their audience sees you and your audience sees them. And then you should also, and it's just a way to, like Rihanna said, to collaborate with other bloggers, and then even collaborate as friends, like we both do, where it's like a lot easier and I guess better. No, it's better to like do things to do a lot of stuff together and have help. We'll even know some people who also are other bloggers, and it's like they will have their friends take their pictures, like if they do fashion posts and have like a fashion blog, and they have their friends or their husbands take their pictures. That can be a big help. And then it just helps you a lot whenever you have help, especially if you're somewhere it's like you don't know what to do and you feel alone and helpless and whatever. I don't know, but it depends, I guess, on what you're really wanting out of it. But I would say that's the biggest thing, especially with the photography, because even if you do just certain things like DIY stuff or food stuff, it's really good to have someone else there to take the pictures, because it's really, I'm pretty sure it's pretty difficult to do it all on your own, and stuff. And have a friend help you, have your husband help you, have your parents help you. I don't know, have whoever help you that you can, because that can really be just a help in general. And then also you could have like your friends do posts. Like we had a couple friends be in Wearable Wednesdays for us, like forever ago. It was a long time ago. But we had them do it just so we could have someone else on there so you could see their style. And it's something that kind of breaks up like it just being the two of us. And you can even have friends, or you could even like do the same thing with like a recipe or a DIY or really whatever you want. And then you can also collab with local businesses, and which we haven't done that, have we? No, we haven't done that.
We're starting to, though.
Yeah, we're starting to. We're trying. But even then, like if you do like, what would be a good example? Like if you do review blogs, try and get with a local restaurant and talk about them and talk about the restaurant and talk about, what their restaurant is all about, and then review the food and try and work with them and all that. And it can be intimidating. It can be, because it's like, oh, what if they just don't want to have anything to do with me and all this. I mean, what really, it's like, what's the worst that someone could say is no? Because then if they say no, then it's their loss, because they don't deserve you.
It's their loss. Their loss.
But it's like, if it's like that, or if it's something like fashion type post, like it's easy to go into a local place and take pictures inside a local art gallery store or something. And it can really help you to have something else that's different, and also like to get the local business's name out of there. Gosh. And even like when there's people that's around you and stuff, like if you are in an area like Columbus and you go to a local place, a lot of people that live in that area will go there and eat at the restaurant, eat the fried chicken and whatever.
Yeah, it's a little harder for us because we live like in a small town in Ohio. But especially, like, again, I'll use Kathy as an example. She lives in Phoenix, if I'm not mistaken. So she works with a lot of places in Phoenix. Even like she was at a barbecue festival or something like several months ago, and they paid for her to go there and, eat barbecue and drink beer, so, and cover that event basically.
Yeah.
so you can totally do that. And because she lives in Phoenix, that's perfect for her. And like she talked about earlier, she did a thing for, I can't even remember what makeup car it was, but it was some car company where she was taking a tour around Phoenix in the car.
I saw that on their blog, yeah.
Yeah,
where
in
she
the
got
car.
Like a car. Yeah.
It was just a Snapchat story that she was sponsored for. She didn't given the car, like she rented it. Like they rented it to her for however long. But
they like let her borrow it for a week or something.
Yeah. And she went around and did that, and that's like more not a local business, but it was specifically geared towards Phoenix tourism and this car company. So especially if you're in a bigger area, you can totally do that.
Yeah.
Get with companies because a lot of your readers can be from that area.
Yeah.
And even if you want to like something that we were meaning to do and be forever, but it's a good example. Like if you have this favorite bakery in your area or whatever, you go to the baker and you're like, hey, I love your cakes, etc. And be like, would you be willing for me to interview you for my blog? And, you kind of interview them and ask them about their business, why they love cooking, etc. And then, talk about their bakery on your blog and share like the interview. Or you can just be like, hey, my readers are really into baking. Can you give us like your 5 tips for making some great icing or something like that? Because I think they really like that, and we'll mention your business, take some pictures, etc. 9 times out of 10, people aren't going to say no to like, and they'll be like, well, what do you want from me, type thing. Like, nothing but your time, man. You know what I mean? So definitely that's a great thing, to build your community locally as well.
Okay.
But you also, to be successful, you have to be willing to do the not fun stuff, which is SEO and social media and commenting and planning and all that stuff. A lot of people get into blogging and they're like, great, I'm going to get free stuff. I'm going to do things I like. I want to make crafts and post about them. And I want to make recipes. It's going to be awesome. And most of the time, you spend doing stuff that you don't want to do. Not really. It's a lot of computer time, a lot of monotonous little things that little details that really make up what blogging is. So if you have that idea in your head and you want to be a successful blogger and you think it's just going to be all fun stuff, just a big party, it's not. It is not. But the whole thing is the good. It sounds really weird, but the good parts outweigh the bad. That's not even bad. It's just like not fun. I'd rather be doing something else in my time. But if you buckle down and you do that stuff, you'll be successful, and you will, enjoy the time that you are cooking for your blog and connecting with people, etc. But you do have to do the other stuff that you don't want to do as well.
Yeah. It can be very annoying and sometimes make you be like, oh, I don't want to do this. But in the long run, it does help you. And it's just one small part that isn't fun, but there's a lot of other things that you do that makes up for it that's fun and stuff.
Don't put it off. I do it all the time, but don't put it off. The more you put it off, the more it piles up, and then you're just you're overrun.
Yeah.
But yeah, just do that stuff. And plus, the more you put that stuff off, the less successful you're going to be in the long run. I can say that from experience because, like I said, we took 3 months of not doing anything, and guess what? We weren't successful. When we buckled down and we really posted and we kept up with the social media, the commenting, the SEO, all that stuff, we got successful. Imagine that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you got to do it, man. You just got to do it. And always be learning. That's something we always do. You got to always be learning new things about blogging, researching, doing new blog techniques. What's hot, what's not. Being involved in different mastermind groups like Facebook groups and stuff like that. Adopting new trends like live video, which is what we're kind of doing, and podcasting. You always want to be learning. Never feel like you've learned it all or you can't improve your blog at all.
Yeah.
I know it's like when you're starting out, you're like, oh, I can improve a lot. But I mean, even as you grow, you can always learn something. You can always do something better. You can always be improving your content or yourself and your pictures, whatever, in some way.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. For sure. And then another thing, you want to do is do your best. That sounds so corny, but it's like, don't be discouraged if you feel like no one's reading it, no one's looking at it or caring about your content, which is something we didn't struggle with it, but we would always kind of feel like, oh, is there really anyone reading our stuff? Is there really anyone out there more than like 5 people or whatever? But we still like kept on being persistent and consistent with posting no matter what. And then and now we're like having all the views and everything like that. So you don't want to give up. Don't give up. That's the biggest thing, I think, in life. Even just don't give up. But you don't want to you want to stick with it, improve, and think, okay, well, no one's really doing this, so what can I do to change? It's like us, where we didn't really have a lot of views and stuff, and it was like, well, what can you do to change? Start to do all the SEO stuff, be more present on social media, be more present with the Facebook groups, do more content, have better content, better photography, all these things. And so that's the biggest thing, is like look and see what isn't working, or see and think about, okay, what needs to be improved, and then improve it. And sometimes you can't really see it, so it may be good to even ask a friend, maybe a friend who will kind of tell you the truth. It can be harsh sometimes, but it's good. It can just take it as corrective criticism. And so you want to just don't give up, basically, and just improve. And like Hannah already said, is as you do it, you will improve it seems to be a never ending thing of improving, and stuff like that. I was going to say something else, but I forgot. But that's basically, yeah.
I developed it. That's basically all we had. Our little tips and tricks. We hope it made some sense. It wasn't too rambly. And yeah, so I guess we can answer questions now if anybody has them. AKA Janelle, our number 1 fan. I don't know where Alyssa went. She left. Anyway.
Someone else is watching.
Yes.
Very good statement. Thank you.
Thank you, Janelle.
Yeah.
Thank you. We're here to serve, Janelle. We're here to serve. No. I can't see your first question, Janelle. Oh, the chat went down.
We could start from the bottom and work our way up.
Sure, let's do this.
Okay.
Start from the bottom and we went to the top.
Start from the bottom. Now I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. She wants us to explain what SEO is.
I don't know.
It's search engine optimization. Yeah, I actually Googled it, so I can give you the right answer.
Oh,
or not.
My gosh. I thought Sarah knew this.
I know. I knew it, but I just wanted to make sure. So it is basically, it's the process. The real definition is the process of maximizing the number of visitors to a particular website by ensuring that the site appears high on the list of results returned by a search engine. So, for example, if you have all the search engine things, so if someone gets on Google and they type in something like ragu pasta shells, stuffed pasta shells, and then you have like the ragu pasta shells in the title, and you have it in it's like the first paragraph? Basically,
the short form, you do all these things. There's several things. Like I said, I cannot cover SEO like in this thing. It's like crazy. But you just Google like what you need to do for your blog post. But there's several things that you need to do, like your title. You have an alternate title. You have to resize. You need to have all this other stuff. What am I thinking of? At least 300 words. Backlinks, all that stuff. You have to have just to make your blog appear higher in the search results rankings. So more people will find your site from like Googling stuffed pasta shells.
Yeah, so that way there's more of a chance that like your blog, the post will show up in the first or second page on Google, on the search engine.
Yeah, so things you do so Google can find you, basically, so they just don't glance over you.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them, but, you know, and it more, I will say, I know you're a Blogspot user. It more applies for it applies for everything, but it's easier to handle on WordPress. That is one reason why we switched from Blogger to WordPress. We have that migration because we can really keep track of our SEO. And there's a plugin that we use, Yoast SEO. If you've never heard of it, it's amazing. And it really gives you like a little guideline for how you can make your SEO better. Like, we'll type in the title of the post. We can change the metadata for however it pops up in Google search, etc. We can do all that, and that plugin kind of coaches you and says, oh, your word count is a little low. You need to get that up to 300, you know. Or, you know, you only use this keyword like once in your post. Maybe consider adding more keywords, you know, stuff like that, which is really helpful because SEO is quite complicated and confusing and kind of dumb, but you have to do it. But that's just kind of like it really is, but it's just the algorithm and stuff. But it gives you the outline for what you should do, so you can like check, and then when everything has a green light, you're good to go on Yoast.
Yeah.
So yeah. The other chats went away. Why can't I scroll up?
It says there was the other question that was, should you say in each post that you're an affiliate, even if you purchase the item on your own affiliate, even if you purchase the item on your own? No, you don't have to. We don't.
Wait. What was the question? Do you have to disclose that you're an affiliate? If you have an affiliate link in that post, by FTC Blogger guidelines, you have to disclose it somewhere on your blog. Usually they want you to, I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Usually they want you to do it right in the post. Even if you paid for it yourself, you have to have like at the beginning or the end. I think now it's the beginning all the time. But you can just say something like, you know, I use this, what am I thinking of? I bought the product with my own money or something that sounds better than that. And then be like, any purchase made through these links will go towards our blog or something like that.
Yeah. Or usually it's like, all items are purchased with my own money. All opinions are my own.
Yeah. But also, like when you're having an officially affiliate link, you have to disclose that any purchase made through that link is going to go towards you. Just so that people know. Heads up, if you buy something through this specific link, you're benefiting me.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, if you don't have an affiliate link, it doesn't matter. It's just a link. And you can just put that, I received this, you know, on my own. I bought this on my own. All opinions are my own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, next.
She had, how do you get them to engage? I don't know if we already answered that by where we said to reply to comments and have relatable content and stuff like that.
How do we get people to engage? I guess make stuff that people want to engage. Oh gosh, but make stuff that people want to engage with. Yeah, the readers to engage. How do you get readers to engage with you? Well, you know, you make stuff that makes people want to comment. That's like the long and short of it, or at least share it on their social media.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly how we did even. We just started getting comments like here and there. We started
it started to increase more and more once we switched to WordPress and started to do all the SEO stuff.
Yeah,
more, and then the Facebook stuff.
And connecting with other bloggers, that helped because like I do a lot of the blogging link ups, you know, and stuff like that, and that got our stuff out there more. And then other bloggers would comment, and then they would share our content, and then their people would comment. It's just like a big connection thing. I guess to me, the more connections you make with other people, the more connections you're gonna have like on your blog. one way, I didn't even do like the whole Facebook group thing and stuff at first. We just started out with doing link ups. Like people will have their lifestyle link ups. I know, again, I'm coming from like the lifestyle blog standpoint, but link ups really help. It really does.
Or even if you do it like where we do food, and you can have people have food link ups or fashion link ups, stuff like that, even, and stuff. And Janelle said she gets people to read, but no replies on the blog. You can always do what is it called?
Call to action.
Yeah, the call to action where you ask the question at the end of the post, so that way it has to be something that people engage with. So that way people will be like, how well, if you have a review for something and I'll be like, oh, I love this food thing. I can't live without it. And blah, 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 blah. And it'd be, I don't know. I'm thinking about doing a horrible example, but it's like, I love these crackers. I don't know.
These crackers. They're great.
These crackers. I don't know. Something like that. And just have some sort of question that people can relate to, and people will be like that. And you'd be like, what do you use this for? What would you use this for even?
Like if you had again with the crackers, be like, all right, I love these crackers. They're the best, whatever. And then at the end of the post, be like, what would you use these for? What if they have different flavors? What flavors would you guys like to try? What flavor do you guys, what sounds the best to you guys? Or do you guys have any other ideas for how to use this? In today's, our post was like, the morning brew was like, what did I say? How was everybody's morrow day or something like that? It's just, rather than just being like, blah, 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 you're asking a question to get a response. And that's what most people, like blogging people, will tell you, like, have a clear call to action. Usually, especially if you're working with brands, you want to incorporate them into it. Like Ragu, we did like, which pasta sauce would you like to try? And what would you like to make with the pasta sauce? What recipe would you use this in? And that gets people thinking. That gets people commenting. And it helps the brand because the people will go to that page and be like, what kinds of pasta sauce are there? I better look and see, and that's traffic to their site.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay. And then she asked about the titles, which we kind of answered already, right?
We haven't answered the title one. Blog title examples, how we do our titles.
Like the title for posts.
Yep. We talked about that.
Okay.
That's when I said like top 5 things, etc.
Yeah, I think that was all the questions. I'm looking. How did yours delete?
I don't know. I can't scroll up. One more? Is there one more question? Janelle, write it again, please, if you would be so kind.
Or if you have.
I don't know. For whatever reason, my thing won't scroll up.
I can't find one. I got lost in all the other comments.
Spam. Or whatever the heck that was.
It was like a little girl.
Oh, I see it now. Hold on, I'm scrolling.
Oh, what time of the day or week is best to post?
Oh, that was... I remember seeing that now, and it was...
Yeah, me too. Gosh. Well, we don't post on the weekends usually because we just noticed the posts doesn't get nearly as much traffic and stuff because we figured people are out and about on the weekends. They're actually doing things crazy. And stuff like that. So we usually post, like we always do, like try and do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Sometimes we do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, at least through that time. In the day, we usually try and do it in the morning around. I try and post like it be scheduled for 10 or at least mid-morning. Usually if it's like too late in the day, like I don't know, past 2-3 o'clock.
Yeah, I feel like your optimal times, or at least for our audience, because some of it depends on the audience too.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of people, they go to work and whatever, if they have desk jobs, or if they're getting up in the morning about 10 or 11 o'clock, they're reading their emails, and that's when we send out our newsletter, ideally. Sometimes I get behind and don't send it out on time, but, the optimal time for the newsletter is Monday at 10 or 11 in the morning. And I feel like that's when people are opening up their emails, checking their social media. Also in the evening, not so much for blog posts, but for social media. Mm-hmm. I find that, if you can post your blog post in the morning and promote it all day long, that's the best way to go. And the evening is the best time probably for Instagram, Twitter, etc. because people are home, they're looking through their phones. Yeah. Or like around lunchtime because people are on their lunch or getting lunch and they're looking through their phones, stuff like that. So.
And even then, like on social media stuff where it's like the 3-day rule for, I think, all of the platforms, isn't it?
3-day rule?
Or not 3 days, 3 times a day, like where they say post on Instagram. It could vary. I don't know. Usually I don't even think about the different time zones.
I think that it depends on your audience, because like I said, we noticed people didn't really watch anything or post or whatever on the weekends. So we stopped posting on the weekends mainly. Yeah. It's just something that is our audience. And it may vary with time zone. It may vary by your audience, what their lifestyle is like. And you can kind of Google articles about it and you'll find 1,000 different answers probably. But we found what works best for our audience and what makes sense, ideally. And also we use CoSchedule. You can also use Hootsuite to kind of plan your blog post. Social media posts, stuff. To have it post when you're gone, or whenever, just to post it through the day. Because a lot of times we work, obviously, several days in a row. And it's hard for us to all right, well, now I have to stop and post this and stop and post that, or so it's just a lot easier for us. And it actually has a feature on there, and I think Hootsuite has the same, where it just does the best time of day. Yeah. And it'll post it on whatever the best time of day, and evenly distribute your social media through different times. Yeah. And usually I notice a lot of it is, 10, 11, it'll be 1 to 3, which is lunchtime-ish, like for if you're working, etc. And then, in the evening, 6, 7, 8. So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think to me, I think it just depends on whatever you want to do, man. That sounds weird, but it just depends on, it's kind of like with planning your posts, like what we had mentioned already is just plan with it and stick with it and do it. I think the biggest thing is the social media stuff, really. To me, I think if you post a little bit later in the day, it's okay. As long as you share it and stuff, you'll still get a lot of views and stuff.
And we're not super strict about 3 times a day. We don't post 3 times a day on every platform.
No.
Especially not Instagram, because I don't spam Instagram as much.
I try. I'll even Instagram is probably the hardest because you can't set a schedule for it. I have reminders in my phone, and then I will be busy doing something else, or I feel like I don't want to do that right now. So
we've been trying to do it once a day, and actually I think we've kept up on it the last week. But Twitter, Facebook, Facebook is a little iffy too. I don't like spam on Facebook either, as much. I don't know why. I just, they say to, but I also don't like the clutter, like Facebook page clutter of a ton of the same things. Like when people go to that, I would rather maybe reshare every, I guess once a day, but or share different posts. Like don't share the same post that, like the Morning Brew went live today. I wouldn't share the Morning Brew 3 times today. Yeah. I would share the Morning Brew in our last 2 posts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Or even if you share like with Instagram, you share different things about your life even, which helps, which also does help to relate to your audience and be like, oh, this person is a real person rather than it's just all blog post. Have more.
It is social media.
Yeah, it is social media. You have to be social, and you have to be like, okay, this is a real person. You want to be personal and stuff like that.
Hashtags. Janelle, do you use hashtags often? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how people find you.
Hashtags are hashtag life.
Haven't you seen the t-shirts, Janelle? Hashtag blogging. Hashtag fail. Hashtag life.
Hashtag fail. Is that all 3 in a row?
I don't know. I'm just telling you this is what Janelle does. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but we do use hashtags. I would say if you don't know what hashtags to use, maybe just like find them. Don't find them, but just use like I guess just have things that relate to your thing. And something that we'll do is you have like, I usually do about 3 to 5 hashtags in the caption, like on Instagram, and then have a comment and have a paragraph of hashtags. So that way it's not this giant thing of hashtags all in the caption, because people, it just looks pathetic. It doesn't try to look pathetic, but she's trying to figure out which one you use for the blog.
We use the hashtags mostly for Instagram because that's the most hashtag-driven platform. Yeah. If you're on Twitter is too. Twitter, I said that weirdly. But Twitter is too. But it's not as much.
Yeah, it's...
Twitter, we use hashtags when relevant. Put it that way. We don't try to, like on Instagram, we're like, okay, we put a picture of the shrimp, but shrimp, seafood dishes, recipe, all these hashtags that even remotely relate to it, plus blogging hashtags that we know.
Yeah.
That's different. Now, if you do that on Twitter, you can't do that on Twitter. You just can't.
No, well, because of the 140 character limit, you can't. It's hard to do it because you have to have the caption, you have to have the link, and then the hashtags. It's hard. Twitter, it's tricky though. It's not tricky. It's just Twitter. It's like, I feel like Twitter, it's easy to just, it's kind of similar to Facebook, I feel like. Or I feel like well, Twitter's switching over anyway, but
the dark side.
It's going to the dark side. It's just Twitter, it's like, I don't know, I think it just depends on what you do on it, and I don't know.
Oddly, though, we get probably almost the most engagement.
Yeah,
we have the most followers on Twitter.
Yeah, we do.
We have 1,300 followers, which may not sound like a lot to some people, but listen, we started out with 30. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and we get tons of retweets, we get tons of likes, people for whatever, just random people. Mm-hmm. It seems like it's really good for that. Well, and again, we also made a lot of connections with bloggers, and they tend to retweet our stuff.
Yeah.
So then, for me, it's easy shareable stuff. Yeah. Sort of like how Pinterest is very shareable. Everything is pin, repin, tweet, retweet, all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we said what hashtags to use for social. I mean, for your blog, like I said, think about what you want your focus to be. Think about what you're writing. And what audience you want to bring in. I know that you're gluten-free, so you probably want to use the hashtag gluten-free or whatever hashtag is really popular with the gluten-free community. And then one thing we did was just Google top hashtags for food bloggers, etc. And it really helped us.
Yeah.
Get them on the brain trust, basically, but I know that you're in different vegan things you review, Love with Food, tweet at them, use their hashtag for their box, etc. We do that for Try the World, and a lot of people ended up commenting stuff just from Try the World's hashtag.
Yeah.
I feel like it'll relate a lot depending on what you're covering at that time. Like I said, you said you review a blog, so hashtag review technology and gadgets. Excuse me. I think just whatever relates best to your thing. I know you said your main platform is Instagram, so just whatever relates to that specific photo.
Yeah.
But just
usually,
go ahead.
Wait, I don't know what I was saying.
Your biggest thing is know your audience. I mean, really, and hashtags goes along with it. Who is going to be seeing this? Who's going to be interested in this? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So it just depends on what you're doing.
I think the more you do it, the more you engage with people, the more, you know.
The more you basically have it down and you know what you're doing, and it's like.
At least that's how it was with us.
Yeah, it's like cake. It's easy as cake. I don't know what that means, but it's as easy as cake.
It's not that easy, but yeah, because like our audience, we didn't know who the heck that they were, so to speak. But I'm dumb. But like we know who we wanted to reach. But then like after we started doing it and engaging, we're like, oh, these are the people who are commenting. These are the people we're engaging with, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like the time of day thing. We notice what time of day people are on, what most clicks we're getting, all that, et cetera. And it's like, oh, well, these people are getting on at this time. Well, that must be the best time to do it. Or this is, and especially with I use MailChimp for our newsletter. It'll show like the clicks and opens on our newsletter. So it's like, if I tried multiple times a day at first, and then basically the one that had the most opens, I was like, all right, well, that's the time I need to do it then,
Mm-hmm.
And playing with different titles and etc. So
yeah.
I think it's a lot of trial and error, pretty much. But yeah, that's pretty much our show, our Blab/podcast, etc. Yes, it has been fun, Janelle. You're still our number one fan, number one follower.
You're with us to the end.
To the end.
Literally.
Till the end, literally.
There's someone else watching, and I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you, for hanging with us. Thanks for joining us. Not sure what the topic's going to be next week, but we'll definitely be here next week.
If you have, I was going to say, if you have any suggestions, let us know. Janelle, you can Snapchat us or something, but anyone else who will watch this, let us know, I guess, too.
Yep.
Sure, why not?
Yep, if you're watching the replay, thanks for sticking it in there that long, that's what she said. But sticking with us that long. But yeah, we're going to try and put this out on the podcast and everything, if I can get that figured out. So if you're going to be listening from the future podcast that doesn't exist quite yet, welcome, and thank you for joining us. But anyway, we're going to sign off for tonight. Thanks for following us, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.